Aaron Boone got ejected yet again, right? I don't know. Boone is always doing something to get tossed. He's always chirping. Guys in his dugout are chirping, getting him tossed. Well, this time it was a fan. 5 pitches into the game, Aaron Boone was given a warning. Uh, Umpire Hunter Wendelstedt said, "Got anything else to say? You're gone." That was his warning. 5 pitches into the game. The fan sitting directly behind the dugout said something Wendelstedt didn't like, and Boone got tossed for it. And it's funny because they showed the replay. You can see the guy sitting there. He said, "Let's go." I think he said, "Let's go home plate," was what it looked like he said. And apparently he didn't like that. And so he looked at Boone and he tossed him. Boone and bench coach Brad Osmus, they were adamant that the fan had said something. Like I said, you could see it on the replay. And Wendelsted's response was, "I don't care who said it. You're out of here." And I think later he said something that he heard something coming from the end of the dugout, and that was what it was. And he had warned Aaron Boone that anything coming from the dugout was going to be a problem for him. So yeah, he said Aaron Boone is the manager of the New York Yankees and is responsible for everything that happens in that dugout. I don't want to eject a ball player. We need to keep them in the game. That's what the fans pay to see. Aaron Boone runs the Yankees. He got ejected. Then he continues and he said, apparently what he said was there was a fan right above the dugout. This isn't my first ejection. In the entirety of my career, I have never ejected a player or a manager for something a fan said. I understand that that's going to be part of a story or something like that because that's what Aaron was portraying. I heard something come from the far end of the dugout, had nothing to do with his area, but he's the manager of the Yankees, so he's the one who had to go. Wow. Okay, so this to me is just absolutely absurd, and he can make this up, right? And then even if the Yankees say nobody at the other end of the dugout said a word, even if that is their side of the story and that's what's true, this is what the umpire can say. He can say, "I heard something from the end of the dugout," right? That can be his excuse, his scapegoat for this whole thing. And there's not going to be any accountability for this at all because umpires are not held accountable by Major League Baseball. They're held accountable in the court of public opinion thanks to umpire auditor, umpire scorecards, instant replay, and things like that. We have all those things at our disposal to hold umpires accountable. Unfortunately, it doesn't do any good in Major League Baseball. Why? This is something I heard on Foul Territory. This is explained by AJ Brzezinski. He said umpires cannot get fired because of their current CBA. They cannot get fired or demoted. They agreed to not take pay raises during this collective bargaining agreement in exchange for not getting fired or demoted. This is why we continue to see Angel Hernandez just being an absolute clown behind the plate and on the field every single day. Things like this from Hunter Wendelstedt, who, I heard something down at the end of the dugout. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Either way, he ejected Aaron Boone for something that most likely a fan said. Okay. I've spoken to people, I spoke to a guy who used to be, I think he was a big league umpire. Either way, he was a regional umpire supervisor in the minor leagues. Umpired lots of games. Right. I'm pretty sure he made it to the big leagues for a little while. Lots of minor league, international even. We asked him, "Can you hear hecklers in the stands?" And he said, "Minor league stadiums, yeah, there's not very many people there usually. You can hear all that. International, typically, but I couldn't understand them. I didn't speak Spanish." However, the one thing he did say was you get to the big leagues and you can't hear what the fans are saying. There's too many people there. But this one, the mic, the hot mic, the shotgun mic that I think it was the Yes Network that I was watching they clearly picked up Aaron Boone on the field. They picked up Wendelstedt responding and yelling at Boone. They didn't pick up the fan, though. So I don't know. Anyway, it's an odd thing to me that these umpires cannot and will not be held accountable by Major League Baseball because the owners are cheap and the league is suffering because of it. We have things like this to talk about every single day because something is going on. It's just absurd. It is absolutely absurd. They need to fix it the next time they have to negotiate a CBA.